Hi everyone and welcome back with our tutorials with Mr. Bell. Today we will explore how to set up a Stripe account, what in Bell we call Stripe onboarding. I'd like to remind you that the Stripe onboarding is a necessary step for receiving donations within the Bell app. If you're onboarding an enterprise, be sure to have the legal authority to do so, that you are the business representative or can present to Stripe the information about the business representative. If you don't have an account, you can take a look at the other video tutorial on how to create an account in Bell. When your account is created, you can enter the profile page. To do so, I press the little face icon from the yellow bar at the bottom of the screen. We shall then move to Edit Profile and select Enable Stripe. After enabling Stripe, we receive a notification email from Bell. In this moment, Bell is sending to your email address an email confirming that Stripe has been enabled for your Bell account. From here, we can proceed in two different ways. The first one is moving to our mailbox, read the email we just received, and open the link to the Stripe platform. This can be done from both your computer and the mobile device. The other option is to move back to the Bell app, open the Edit Profile page, wait a few seconds that the Enable Stripe button becomes the Complete Onboarding button, and press it to open a link to the Stripe account creation from the device browser. We are now exiting the Bell app and entering the Stripe platform. But worry not, if for some reasons you have to interrupt the onboarding process or the browser page is no longer available, you can repeat the procedure of opening the link either from the computer or the phone. In this case, you have to press the Complete Onboarding button again, and then you can continue from where you left because Stripe records your progresses. So you don't have to start from zero again. It's important to notice that if you have registered a Stripe account before, either outside of Bell or because you have another Bell account, you can use the same email address registered in Stripe to keep those accounts together under the same login credential. They, in fact, in this case, can be accessed from the same dashboard. Unfortunately, you can't link the existing Stripe account to your new Bell account, so it's necessary to create a new Stripe account for every existing Bell account. Please consider that in Bell, it's not currently possible to create multiple accounts using the same email address, but you can do it using different email addresses. Since the email I'm using have not been registered before in Stripe, when I click Submit, I will start the registration from scratch. So I'm asked to digit a password. Please be mindful of using special characters, numbers, and capital letters to enhance the safety level of your password. After digiting the password, you shall press the button Submit. As you can see, Stripe allows a certain degree of customization of the account. You can now see that the Bell registered its logo and branding colors, and that's why you can see them on the screen, like the orange button and the yellow banner at the top and the small logo. That's because when we created the account that connects all the Bell accounts together, we have actually registered our branding logo and colors. Every user actually has the possibility of customizing a Stripe account, and this will be reflected at the moment of the billing process. Since we are talking about money management, it's important to set a two-step authentication method. From here, there are four options. The first is to download, if you haven't downloaded it yet, a Google Authenticator app. It works in two ways, allowing you to scan the QR code Stripe provides you on the screen, or creating a standalone code that can be digited after pressing the blue link. the one called Enter the Code manually instead. The third option is to use the phone number. If you select the link Your Phone at the bottom of the screen, Stripe will ask you to register your number and then sends you an SMS with the authentication code. It happens every time you need to log in. As per the last method, it's about using an alternative authentication software that can be selected after pressing the security key link at the bottom of the screen. Since on this phone I don't have any authenticator apps, for the sake of this example, I will use the SMS method. You may notice that in this case, perhaps also later down during the account creation process, Stripe requires to select the country of origin out from the drop-down menu. This can be a little tricky since the only way to select your own country is to know the two letters code that uniquely identifies your country. If you're not sure what are the right two letters that correspond to your country, you can make a quick check on your favorite searching engine. After digiting the verification code received by SMS, Stripe will consider the two-step authentication process completed and provide you with an emergency backup code. It's important that you save this backup code for future purposes in case one day you won't be able to access the account anymore. It can happen, for example, in case of forgotten password or device loss, all those unforeseen circumstances. Actually, remembering all the passwords nowadays is no easy task, so it's always helpful to have a backup plan, such as the emergency backup code. After pressing the next button, you enter into the page where Stripe asks you if you are here on behalf of a registered company or as individual. Each country has its own business registration procedure. Therefore, this page changes based on the business location. So please be aware that what you see on the screen may be different from what you experience if your country of origin is different than mine. For Singaporean companies, for example, it is required to enter a UEN number. If an individual is registering the Stripe account from Singapore, it has to declare that it doesn't know the UEN number and select individual from the drop-down menu below. Since this example is for individuals without registered companies, then I'll switch to my personal information and I will select Italy as business location. From the drop-down menu, I will select individual type of business. Stripe that will then require me to enter the fiscal code, which is a code characteristic of the Italian fiscal system. As per the example of the registered company made before, also the individual method of registration may vary from country to country. So Stripe may set different requirements if your business location is different than mine. In this particular case, it's required to record the date of birth and the home address, plus the phone number. Please consider that Stripe may require an official document as proof of your identity, like a bill or an employment contract and so on. After providing Stripe with your personal information, it's time to move to the page where we tell Stripe what are our intentions with this account. Information we're gonna digit now are to ensure that the invoice that Stripe automatically generates are in compliance with your country regulation. Stripe needs to know if you as individual, for example, are VAT registered. In my case, once I select no, I'm required to enter the personal fiscal code. Scrolling further down, you have the choice of selecting the type of interest your activity belongs to. I here recommend opening the sub-menu Digital Products. So from there, you can pick other digital goods for those users who identify as digital creators. In case you are not quite sure about the right choice here, feel free to contact Stripe to be guided towards the option that best fits your activity as Bell user. Stripe also requires a URL link under your website text box. Note that you don't necessarily require a website to proceed further with the registration process. If you open the link Learn More, Stripe makes a disclosure over there on what are the possible options to be inserted into the text box, eventually in the language of your device. As you can see, it's Italian in my case. In synthesis, if you don't own a website, you can actually use other links, such as your LinkedIn profile link or other social media profile link. In this example, I will use the Bell website link. As per the product description, digital creator is a safe way to put what kind of activity a Bell user do. Feel free to put also a longer description or what you do for a living instead. After pressing the button Continue, it comes the moment where you let Stripe know which bank account you want Stripe deposits the donation you received from Bell from now on. All the donations you receive from other Bell users will be processed by Stripe and then sent into this bank account. Please note that this type of transaction may take a few days to complete. Continuing to the next section, you can add the billing information. Under the statement descriptor, you may want to digit a name that helps the supporter recognize your Bell account. So either your account name or a name that uniquely identifies your person. The shortened descriptor is just a short version of it. So here you can put a short name or an acronymus. At the bottom, you may provide a customer support phone number, so that number Stripe can use to contact you in case of issues with your account or your transactions. You can then choose to toggle its visibility on or off. Consider that it may be the same phone number or a different one to the one you provided before. Let me remind you again that what information we are providing Stripe with, they can be changed later on from the Stripe dashboard. And I will soon show you how. Nowadays, we hear more and more talking about sustainability. Finally, Stripe is giving us a chance to make an effort towards the direction of helping against the climate change. If you press continue, in fact, you see yourself facing the sustainability page of Stripe. If you decide you want to take part in this Stripe initiative, please take your time to read the Stripe climate policy and then make your choice about what percentage of your revenue obtained from the Bell app you want to devolve to this cause. There are three options: 0.5, 1 and 1.5%, although the most popular one is the 1%. If you don't want to devolve a percentage of your revenue to the fight against the climate change, feel free to press the No Thanks button at the bottom. You can also decide by ticking the small checkbox here to start donating only after you earn a certain target amount. The target amount can be digited like I'm doing right now inside this small window over here. For your knowledge, you can always change these settings from the Stripe account dashboard that becomes available after completing this registration process. I will digit 100 and continue with 1% donation. The subsequent screen is just a recap of the info provided so far. If there is any pending information or document you haven't provided yet, it will be highlighted here in red. If the information are correct, you can finally submit the registration application after carefully reading the terms and conditions. If instead there is something you want to amend, you can press the blue button on the right, beside each and every section of the registration process. Now that we have completed the account creation, or better, the onboarding process, we shall wait for the Stripe review of the information provided. Consider that this step may take a few minutes to a few days. If there is anything amiss, Stripe will send you an email requesting additional details, or may also request additional document as identification proof. To verify the status of the account verification, you can log in into the Stripe website. In this case, I will be using the mobile browser once again to assess the Stripe account that we just created. If you remember, I chose the two-step login method. Thus, I shall wait for the SMS containing the authentication code and digit it into this page. The revision of the account is then completed, as you can see from the text under the business information. Consider any way the Stripe can require subsequently to verify your identity, such like your fiscal code, your address, or your VAT number. If we press the X button on the top left, we will enter the proper dashboard. The Open tab here is about your account status. If there was any reason why the onboarding process was unsuccessful, you could have found a statement here with the info on how to rectify the issue. Since in my view there are no additional tasks, it means that the process was successfully completed. You may now want to take a look at the Public Details tab, where you can fill in additional information. It is a good practice to complete as many fields as you can here, for a better compliance of the individuals involved in the donation transactions. Apart from the legal business name and the business name that can be totally made up if you are an individual, scrolling down you can find customer support email and customer support URL. Privacy policy and terms of use are recommended if you own a website, or otherwise if you offer a service. After completing the information update, do not forget to press the button Continue at the bottom. As said before, what we have done so far can be done on the browser, but it can actually be visualized on the Stripe mobile app. It's now time to open back the Bell app to understand if the Stripe onboarding process is actually completed. You can in fact notice that in the Edit Profile section, the onboarding button is long gone, and the Stripe status color has turned green. This means that from now on you can set donation targets alongside the post content, and you will be able to receive donations from other users. After pressing the arrow back, you can finally press the plus button at the center of the yellow bottom bar to initiate the post creation process. Here, after choosing the title, the text, and the media to upload, you can set your donation goals. It can be either a preset amount by pressing one of the 4 amount buttons below, or a custom amount. As you can see, I'm digiting a custom amount of $255. You can complete the post using the top right button here. Now that the post is created successfully, I make a move to the profile page to review the post content from the section My Posts. Pressing at the center of the post opens its content. You now see that the donation bar of the exact amount I digited while creating the post has appeared. From now on, the bar will record the sum of the donation received from the other users. They are pressing the donation buttons under this post. The counter bar can be visible by all the other users. This as a method to create incentive to achieve its target. So that's all for now to make a Stripe account, aka onboarding. From Mr. Bell, a big hug, I hope it helped and I wish you a great Bell experience.